welcome to Gulf Coast Cosmos Presents. We are Gulf Coast Cosmos, your friendly neighborhood comic book shop, and we are here to talk to someone who I happen to know a little bit already, and I'm really excited to get a chance to share a little bit more time with artist Chuck Patton. Self-taught, but also educated in art, best known for Justice League of America in Detroit, moved it out to Detroit because that is where you're from. And we have had so many conversations. We actually go to the same comic book shop. This is why we know each other. This is why we met. So little old nerdy Sharmane is just hanging out at a comic book shop, shopping alongside Mr. Chuck Patton, not understanding who it is that I'm standing right next to. So as a comic book nerd who gets a chance to actually meet someone who does something that I am hyped for, I was very excited to get a chance to meet Chuck in person. And then we've just gotten a chance to sit around and chat a little bit. So we are going to chat with you today, Byron and me, about everything under the comic book sun and animation too, because you're also well-known and Emmy Award-winning animator.
Sharmane, you never told me the whole like backstory about you and Chuck. So this whole like 6 degrees of separation, y'all literally like go to the same.
We go to the same comic book shop.
We're bumping elbows, literally.
Yeah, I remember one time, and this was like before. I don't remember if I was part-time at the comic book shop Pulp Fiction in LA, Culver City. I don't remember if I was working there yet or if I was just hanging out there all the time. But we were sitting in the new release section, the indie section. We were sitting there chit-chatting. And I guess we were just talking, we're talking about representation and things like that or whatever. We just got real deep into it in the comic book shop. And then we start like walking around the shop together, just like hanging out a little bit. And then I definitely know that by the time I was working there and made the connection with one of my coworkers there, Adam, was like, you know who that is? And I'm like, nah. I was just like, he's a nice guy. I really like that guy.
Oh, that's dude that I was talking to like 2 months ago. Yeah.
And
I had followed Adam over from a previous store where I used to have the same relationship with the people who worked there.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I honestly, I probably wouldn't have been there if it weren't for him.
Right.
Gone there before when there was previous people. Sharmane wasn't there. Chris wasn't there, and it was convenient, but I honestly was not warm to the management. And I remember even name dropping, and they were very kind of, I wouldn't say dismissive, but a little cold. And I've had that before, but I didn't want to illuminate them, like, oh, you're talking to the person. I just went, and so when I came back and Adam was there, it was like, oh, homie, Yeah. So he's like that with me anyway, and we have history. So I know when Sharmane was there, it was one of those homie moments where he and I were already BSing. I think by that time I had met Chris, and I saw you in the background, and I knew you were sort of kind of I knew you were either associated with the store, working with the store, or close to somebody in the store.
Mm-hmm.
Because generally I don't just go, hey, let me tell you about my life.
Well, again,
I don't want to be one of those old guys, You
also didn't ever allude to who you were. You were just talking about having ideas and things you've written about, and I was like, maybe it's time to. Byron, I literally said these words to Mr. Chuck Patton. I said, maybe it's time to write some.
Yeah, because
yeah.
I remember it because it was after you left that Adam asked me. That's what happened. Adam was like, you know who you're talking to? And I was like, no. And he was like, that was Chuck Patton. I was like, why'd you let me talk like that then?
I get the most advice from
him like that.
I've had worse things than that happen. I mean, those things they crack me up. I don't know if I told you that story, and you don't stop me because I do tend to go off, and I do have that old man's problem telling stories.
Hey, that's why you and I talk for 4 hours.
I just related a story about being in New York, and one of my favorites, which I was kind of embarrassed with, but that was one of those moments where one of my sons, who ain't my sons, was like, dude, you got to do this. He was one of my top artists on the show. My crew and I used to all hang out after we were doing Ninja Turtles. And we used to have a club up the street we'd go to. I'm literally a club that was literally a half a block away from where we work. So, we're in trouble. We would have and wait for when, and then we're talking a club. It wasn't like some little hangout. It was you know. It was like, they had themed nights, you know, and there's nights when we were there, and then we went there so much as a group, they called us literally the Turtles.
Oh, cute.
Lord never charged us. They rush us in. It's like 5 or 6 of us, and we get our own spot, and it was dance night, you know. And we wouldn't leave till 2 a.m. Sometimes the guys would leave at 3 a.m. They'd just go back to the office, hide under the desk, and fall asleep. That kind of shit. Anyway, we were there one night. It was another one of those wild nights. I won't even go into that. But I will tell you this. There was this little guy there. And you know, in New York, with the clubs, they're like literally in brownstones. So like there's apartment buildings over these clubs. And high-class apartment buildings, but still. So this guy noticed us, and he was like, you guys are here all the time. I heard you're artists. And I had told the crew, never tell anybody who I am. Don't get into what I am. I'm the boss and all that. Don't even do that. Because people, I've been around, you know, it's enough when people always want, I got an idea. I want to tell you something, you know. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be I'm not going to open the door for you because.
Because I met you in the hallway.
Right. So they're like, mom's the worst. So I'm just the big guy in the back because unfortunately I'm taller. So I was the tallest guy in the group. So like, I'm always the big guy in the back. Obviously oldest. So, you know, just pretend that I'm just hanging out with you, but don't tell him I'm the boss. So, so this guy found out not only that they all worked on Turtles, which, you know, that opened doors to a lot of things, but that he in his mind was going to seduce them into doing his project. So he was like, come over to my studio upstairs. He's got, I got 5 floors. He was some rapper guy. To this day, the guys were when we talk, we're like, do we even know who he is? I don't even know who he is.
So funny.
I'm not into certain. He wasn't like a known rapper, but he's one of those guys you know, and you go, oh yeah, his shit. But it wasn't like, oh man, this is like Diddy. This is like, you know, 50s. No. But he got some money. I mean, he had a damn brownstone studio. But it was one of those things where as you go through it and you realize, okay, it's converted brownstone and he's got the soundboards, he's got the shit, he's got dope in the house. Everybody was high. They were playing games in one room. He's mixing it. And I'm not impressed because as I told him later, dude, I've been to Skywalker. Big deal. You know,
hey.
So he's taking the guys on the tour. He's trying to seduce them. Say, I got all this shit. We can make shit right here. You know, when you getting off Turtles? What are you doing on Turtles? You know, it's like, well, Turtles is paying our salaries. Turtles is doing this. Turtles is like to hang out. And he's like, well, if I can talk y'all into this, how much money I'll need? You know, and they go, well, we ain't the guy. And they're looking at me like, oh shit. And I'm like, what's the word? Don't say nothing. You know, talk about budgets that I can help them with. I don't want to know. I don't care. So he looks at me and goes, oh, you big dude. What are you? Bodyguard? He shouldn't have said a damn thing because then the youngest one went off on him. Motherfucker, you know who this is?
Oh no!
Where that came from? This Chuck fucking Patton. He's Emmy Award winning Chuck fucking Patton. Spawn, this, that. What are you? Who are you? He drew the Justice League. He goes DC. He goes Marvel. He does DC. And the other guys are picking up. Yeah, he's this. This is our.
Oh no! That's exactly what you didn't want.
I swear to God, little motherfucker. Oops, should I curse? I did that again. I forgot to ask.
I mean, I do. So.
So the little motherfucker drops to his knees and starts doing this. And I'm like, dude, stop. Because when you think of my studio, and that's why I said, yeah, man, I've been to Skywalker. I've worked with LucasArts. This is nice. I appreciate it, but you know, for what we do, we got the same shit down the street. And if I wasn't impressed with that, I'm certainly not going to drop my pants for this. You know? Just to let them know I was ghetto, you know, because some guys forget, you know, they look at you and go, you look black, but are you black? And I have to go.
Oh, yeah, we did. We've talked about that, yeah.
I'm from Detroit, excuse me. You don't get no blacker than that berry, okay? But he, and then for the next couple hours, he proceeded to wine and dine. We went back to the club, nothing. I mean, we got used to that anyway because the club will always cut prices for us. But now it's like, fuck, whatever you guys you want is free on this nut. So for the next 6 months, he would just, y'all come on into my table. I'm like, oh, go sit next to the director, and I put the young one next to him. No, he's the genius. He's coming up. I'm old. I'm coming down the hill. He's coming up the hill. Talk to you.
Oh, that's nice.
Anything you want, just keep him away from me. So
That's funny.
Of course, he never did anything with them, and that young artist is still out there working his butt off, and I keep expecting him to become a director one day when he feels like doing it. He does so much shit. But that always cracked me up because, you know, it's like you got to be careful about who you diss, who you say hi to. You don't know who they are.
I mean, yeah, like if you're a real person and if you just behave as if the way that you are, you have a lot more opportunities. I think, you know, it's not like when I was just chopping it up with you in a hallway in the comic book shop that I thought anything would happen. Like, I'm just having a conversation with someone else. I'm like, for me at Pulp, the biggest thing was I saw another brown person that was into comics, and that doesn't happen. And I mean, it's a big part of why Byron and I got together to do this thing. Is we needed a neighborhood space that felt like us. And so, I mean, more than anything, it was probably because of a conversation you were having with Adam that I kind of slipped in and was like, hey, hi, brown nerd too. You just had to have a conversation, and it just so happened that it led to me meeting somebody who has done something that I could only dream of getting into at the time. At the time that we were talking. So let's get a little bit of a background just so that people who are watching this for the first time know a little bit about y'all, or a little bit about you. I know that you've been drawing, and I'm going to kind of be asking you questions I've already asked you in real life, so this is weird. I know that you always were interested in art and drawing, anything like that, but would you mind kind of telling the audience a little bit about how you got started and how your art turned from art to, oh, I think I can also do comics?
Like my career, my life. In a nutshell, I've been drawing since I was in diapers. And my family, if my folks were alive, which I wish they were because they can see where I am, I know they would jump up going, it's our fault. We made them that way, you know. They never discouraged me. They as soon as I started drawing and talking too, because that was the thing I remember. I remember clearly my father asked me, what are you drawing? And I would tell him this story. Because he was a storyteller. He was the kind of guy, you sit down, he'll have millions of stories. I blame him for my running off of the mouth because that's what he used to do. But I was enthralled with it because he was such a fun person to listen to. And so he would ask me what I'm drawing, and I would tell him a scenario, you know. So it wasn't just scribbling. I had the story in my head. And my older sisters, bought, I think, I'm trying to remember, but now I'm thinking about it, like, we actually did, because they didn't buy just DC Marvel. They bought DC Marvel, Go Key, American Comics, which used to do these really awful books called, the superheroes were like Magic Agent, and I forgot the other guy who was Magic Man. They're on a magic kick. So romance comics, Western comics, horror comics. We had, everybody in the house had a particular appetite. And my mom loved science fiction. And I remember her dismissive of romance books because she was like, why would you be so stupid to love a man like that? But it was Edgar Rice Burroughs or something. She was in it. She was in that shit. So science fiction and a bit of horror. My older sister loved horror. She grabbed this, and my sister under her did the romance books. They also read the horror, and then the superheroes. So I had in my house around me since I was a toddler comics, and no ridicule of it, other than, oh, this is a mess. Move your comics away from my comics, that kind of shit. So I was prepared. My family prepared me for this life of work, you know, before the word became even conscious. And I drew and I drew, and the more I drew, the more I kept running off the paper. So they had to give me bigger paper. First, they gave me. First, I remember drawing on paper bags, brown paper bags, and my mother was like, "That's not good for him," you know, because I was like smoothing out the thing. So they got me tablets, and there was that line tablets because nobody thought I was going to be in. I mean, I don't think my family understood. They knew I had an artistic bent, but they didn't know about supplies. So it was an education for them. Either I would find out through school when they gave me construction paper, then it's like, all right. we'll get you that, or we find something equivalent. I think I drawn on every paper product ever known to man, other than toilet paper. Seriously. And in a quest to just fill the page. And as I went and I saw comics, I was mimicking them, because that's how it works in comics. I think one of the foundations of comics is it encourages mimicry, so that you will, what you see is what you're interpreting and you're putting it back out. It's the first version of looking at life in some ways. So whatever's in comics, I started drawing. And then as I got to be older, I started making my own comics with my older brother. And we were joking about this recently, because thanks to you guys, actually, I have my older brothers listen to our interview. And it blew really, because it filled in a lot of gaps that they didn't know about me. Oh, really touching, because my oldest brother, who I call the Avatar, he's because he was so talented. I mean, he's a guy who should have been farther even than I am, and he decided not to. He's actually, it's funny, by the time he ended his career, he became an art teacher, which is hilarious. If we know what the other shit he did, this is really bizarre. I mean, really, it's like you go from being like James Bond to an art teacher. So,
awesome. I'd watch that movie. I'd read that book.
Yeah.
You read that book? I thought about it, but that's another story. I don't want to glorify him. So,
sibling rivalry.
And I'm telling you guys a lot of anyway, the thing that touched me most is that they said we saw those interviews and we talked among ourselves, because there was a lot we didn't understand and know at that time period. What you went through, what made you what you were, what made us what we were, why you chose. I'm the only artist in the family, the only professional artist. Even my brother who teaches art, I mean, that's not, it's still not art, professional art. I mean, I think one of the reasons was it's like being a performer. You know that you can go on stage. You know you can entertain. You are interested. You know your vision, your voice is, you have something to share, and that means being naked. And not to put my brothers down, but that wasn't something they could do. Well, at least the way that I did it, put it that way, not the way they could do it. So this was a real eye-opener for them, and it was a touching moment. It really was like, man, we had no idea what made you you. And now I'm explaining it in these interviews, and I thank you guys for that. It really opened up a lot, for me.
Why don't you tell everybody how to follow your art and everything you got going on right now?
Okay, let's see. I am on Facebook, which I'm pretty open about. Chuck Patton. Also have a Patton art page, which I usually simultaneously post things. Especially if it's artistic, I put it on the Patton page, a Patton art page. And if it's just personal stuff that I enjoy and things I'm sharing, it's on my Chuck Patton page. That's Facebook. I have an Instagram page called Chuck Patton Art. Does the same thing as the Facebook Patton Art page. I put on stuff that I like. And I also have an Instagram page, which I believe is Chuck Patton Art. Because I try to keep it relatively simple,
I can vouch for it. It is Chuck Patton Art. I know that.
And on Twitter, I've been trying to put on things. I'm not as up on it because I can get so caught up in Twitter.
Yeah.
But I try to put up the same things. I try to put up positive things. I try to put up things that affect me. Every once in a while, I do a F Trump thing, but he's out of office. Fuck him anyway. But so that's where you can find me.
What I also like about your post too, whether you're posting a print of yours or something else that inspired you or that you're interested in, is you kind of you do give a background. You're like, this is why this thing is important to me. This is what this is about. This is why it's important to me. And I appreciate that too, because that's another insight, right? Like I would think, knowing you the way that I have access to you, I would think you're just walking around like I'm Chuck. I do this thing, and I'm not that I think you're not like in an arrogant way of just like I've done this thing. I do this art. I do this stuff, and then to hear moments when you're like, I felt a little flat on my art for this period of time or this month or whatever, and I'm just like, you know what, that's also helpful because. When you feel like just a really small person, 1 in 7 billion, and there's someone that you look up to is doing something and they feel that way too, you're like, oh, okay. then it's not that bad, right? It's not that
Right.
bad.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think it's really thoughtful, and I appreciate that you do that for whether it's for yourself or your fans. I'm not sure, but I think
Well,
it's helpful, and it's really nice that you do that. So thank you
thank
so
you.
much for
Thank you.
participating.
Thank you.